You are talking about some of the most violent, sadistic, vicious, heinous people on the face of the earth. Who voted to put them here?
The ghoulish Stephen Miller was on Laura Ingraham's Fox News program last night. And he, in an effort to justify his main focus, his main agenda item within the Trump administration, 2-point duh, he made some horrific generalizations, lies, propaganda, racism. He traffics in it like it's oxygen. He needs it to survive. Accusing migrants of being criminals and gang members. Talking about how, well, if you look at all the photos of the Empire State Building, it wasn't built by illegal immigrants. If you look at the NASA control room, it's not illegal immigrants in there. That white people, Americans is what he means. He says Americans, but he means white people. They built America. We built this country and made it strong. It's an ahistorical view of this country and our past and our present and our future. Watch Stephen Miller and prepared to be disgusted.
You know, if you look at photos of the Empire State Building being constructed, in record time, by the way, you know what you don't see there are any illegal aliens. You look at the photos of us landing a man on the moon, you look at the NASA control room, you don't see any photos of illegal aliens. Americans built this country, Americans sustained this country, Americans have powered this country for 2.5 centuries. Nobody voted to turn Los Angeles, what was once one of the crown jewel cities of Americans, into a third world failed city. Nobody voted for the crime. You know, every day ICE is out there in Los Angeles deporting MS-13 gang members, 18th Street gang members, Sinaloa cartel gang members, Sureños gang members. You are talking about some of the most violent, sadistic, vicious, heinous people on the face of the earth. Who voted to put them here?
And the Academy Award goes to Stephen Miller. I don't think that's in his future. Look, this is all of the rambling. Yeah, we know you know the names of gangs. Great, Stephen. We get it. When you look at the photos of the building of the Empire State Building, you don't see illegal aliens. When you look at photos of the NASA control room during the moon landing, you don't see illegal aliens. Americans, he says, built and sustained this country over 200 years. If you want to get down to it, black people built this country. Black formerly enslaved people built this country, Stephen Miller. The building you fucking work in was built by slaves. Black people who were owned as property and systematically abused and tortured, raped and murdered. For centuries on this continent, for over 100 and how many years? Nearly 200 years owned as property while America was America. And you don't have to take my word for it if you're not a fan of history out there. For the trolls in the audience, let's go to the White House Historical Association. They say enslaved labor and the construction of the United States Capitol, it's not just the Capitol. The lengthy process of constructing the United States Capitol relied upon free and enslaved laborers at every step. As a city in its infancy, Washington, D.C. frequently experienced a shortage of free white craftsmen for hire on construction projects. Instead, enslaved laborers found the surrounding slave states of Maryland and Virginia. They made up a bountiful, cheap workforce that could be hired out for work on the president's house and the Capitol. The president's house was built by slaves. The United States Capitol, the temple of our democracy, where we constantly bang on about freedom and quoting the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal. And now we've got this Nazi in the White House built by slaves, continuing to demonize and oppress and harm and kill immigrants in this country. And if you want to further dive into the murky depths and evil heart and mind of Stephen Miller, we only have to go back to April of this year when he was asked a question about deporting. It's not something you can do to an American, but forcing out American children who are the children of migrants. And he says something so repulsive. Watch his answer about those American children that have been forced to leave their home country.
Stephen, you guys ran on targeting violent criminals, worst of the worst. I'm not disputing any of the facts around the cases of these women who were deported and removed with their kids, but given you're looking for more money from Congress, ICE says they need more beds, they need more money. Is it the best use of the administration's resources to be going after moms of young kids, basically?
Do you yourself have an opinion on the subject?
I'm more interested in yours.
Well, what percentage of the, let's just pick an even number of, say, 10 million illegal aliens. Let's say that Biden released, I think it's closer to 20 million. Let's say he released 10 million illegal aliens into the country over the last 4 years. What percentage do you think we should let stay here of those 10 million?
I'm not trying to do a game show.
No, but I'm saying,
I'm just curious if you think that's the best use of your limited dollars.
Is it your view that if a Democrat president releases 10, 15, 20 million illegals into the country, they all then should get to stay forever and for all of life?
Stephen, I don't have a view about what Democratic presidents do. I'm asking what the Republican president you work for and how he wants to use his resources. So you don't want to answer the question because you know the answer is obvious. Everyone that Biden let in has to go home. Of course. I mean, it's a crazy thing to even ask. You think we should give administrative amnesty to some subset? I'm asking how you're prioritizing the work that your administration is doing.
ICE is going to continue to focus on raids against high-threat criminal aliens. We're going to use the entire force and power of the federal government to get them all home. Many will choose also to leave voluntarily and take advantage of the CBP Home app. But we are not going to ask taxpayers to subsidize the presence of a single illegal alien in this country. Here's another thing. Do you think that we have some sort of magic 8-ball to see which particular illegal aliens who skip their hearings, which particular gotaways are going to go on to commit a rape or a murder?
Why are you prioritizing the deportation of American children who are the children of migrants? He says, well, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know who is and who isn't a future rapist. You think children, because by virtue of the fact that their parent is a migrant, that they are likely, probably, not just possibly, a future rapist? That's racist. It is sickening. And he has the ear of the President of the United States. He is in charge of the DOJ. Kid yourself not. It is not Pam Bondi. It is Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller runs the DOJ. Stephen Miller runs the Homeland Security Department. Stephen Miller is the tip of the spear. What do you think? I would appreciate your feedback here. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line. Let me have it there. 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I often get pushback from audience members, typically white audience members, when I talk about race on this channel, when I talk about systemic racism, when I talk about the systematic abuse of black folks in this country, of indigenous people in this country, of Asians in this country, of Hispanic people in this country. Maybe it's not the channel for you. It's not a ton. And maybe it's made up usually of trolls, but you know, I think there are some people who need to do some reading and do some research and really have a more fulsome understanding of our history. I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.